rejoin our party after the kerfuffle within the Sorry Duck Inn, being given a assignment or so from this half-elven, scarred-faced individual. They regather themselves to plan for how they will approach the days to come. What are we doing?
Liliana would probably be scouting a lot during the nights, waiting and watching for them to come in. So her sleep schedule might be reversed from everybody else for a day or two for the next week or so.
If Liliana will allow it, Farron would like to do the same thing, as a fellow person who tends to work best at night, and I would be looking for points of entrance and egress into town, and also looking for potential choke points where we could stop the caravan if it doesn't have a natural stopping point.
Absolutely.
One of the most obvious itself is the bridge is a obvious bottleneck. There's no other way they could cross. Other ways they could maybe take, if you tried to block something off, they could try to go a different route or something, down a different street or alley. And as crowded as the village itself is, as small as it is, there's a good amount of space between each building. It would be easy to route away given those circumstances.
What is the bridge made of?
The bridge is stone. It's, as I described when you guys first kind of made your way into the village, it stands out apart from the rest of the village itself as being like some pretty serious stonework, more of like a king's bridge, like it was ordained by the main city itself to have this bridge put in, and mostly taken care of by this smaller village.
And how far down is the bridge like covering? Is it just kind of like a little creek, or is it like a huge ravine? Or
it's a pretty formidable, not necessarily, I mean, technically a river, but it would be a good probably 40 feet across, actually. And it's a pretty wide bridge itself, enough that probably 2.5 sizable carriages would be able to fit crossing each other.
How high is the drop?
The drop is about a 30-foot drop off the bridge. It gives it enough that in case certain boats would need to kind of cross underneath them.
Is there a place in town that's abandoned, like a shack that nobody uses, or anything like that?
Roll an investigation check. Well, I don't know if that would necessarily be investigation. Let's just call it perception as you look about.
Terrible. 12.
It doesn't seem like there's anything not necessarily unused, but there are barns that are associated with some of the properties, but obviously it's hit or miss whether people are going to end up using them or not. But there doesn't seem to be any unutilized buildings within this village. Everything's pretty purposed.
Last question. Does the probably not the last question. Why am I lying? since it is wartime, and you said last time that there is movement coming from Blumfordshirtonville,
Yeah. From Lakeford
are
Chariton.
people like kind of have that soft awareness and they kind of board things up, don't really come out, or is it just kind of business as usual?
It seems to be business as usual here, actually.
Okay. Thank you.
No obvious signs of people preparing for any kind of disaster. There's a certain degree with this lifestyle where they're somewhat prepared. I mean, you never know when your village is going to be raided or attacked by bandits or anything like that.
Also, so it's safe to say that we've taken a long rest since the night of the brawl, the kerfuffle.
We can get to that, yeah, with each of you, if you would like to have been doing this the next day. If there's anything anybody would like to do for that night, I don't want to just skip past it. If there's anything anybody would like to do for the night.
Yes.
Yes.
So everybody goes to sleep, I'm assuming, in their own rooms or whatever. But Evelina is going to, in her own room, just kind of wait until it's all quiet and everyone else is asleep. About 3 or 4 a.m., witching hour, and just commune with the spirits. Because she's been feeling weird, because she doesn't know anything about herself. And the only thing that she does know is that she can commune with the spirits, and that is the only thing that feels normal to her. So she is going to sit there and shuffle through her tarot cards and just basically ask the spirits if they know anything about the Xeyhathians and these prisoners that might help with this mission. And because she wants to help and not feel like dead weight, because she doesn't feel like she's been much of a help. So she's just going to relax into that and see what they have to say.
Sitting in your also everybody who did purchase a room, I don't know how everybody was doing that, 5 silver each, if you're getting your own room, plenty enough to go around, so no need to share if you don't feel like it, but sitting in your humble little tavern room, it grows darker for a moment, and only the candlelight, while you attempt to commune with the spirits. A fluttering of voices kind of trails past. You try to focus on one. You hear things in passing. Finally, a voice kind of catches your attention, and the tone and accent of it. Though there is nothing that you can see, it's almost like your mind's eye visualizes the embodiment of this individual, this spirit. You can almost picture as it speaks, as if it's like fluttering about, like kind of trouncing through the room itself, and it kind of looks around, kind of confused, touches their face. That's a bit odd. I suppose I shouldn't have tried that, huh? And who are you?
I'm Evelina. And you?
My name's Solon. I think I'm dead.
Yes, I'm sorry to say you are.
I just remember I finally broke out and I was running and... Well, now I'm here. Felt a sharp pain in my back, but... I'm not sure what's next. How are
Well,
you talking to me?
It's an ability I've always had. I'm able to help you move on if that's what you wish, or if there are any last words you wish to say to loved ones, I'm able to do that.
Oh, where do I even begin? I mean, I consider them all my family, but... Well, we've been captured. Large group of us, actually. Xeyhath military. They've, never treated our kind too kindly. I suppose, if you truly want to help me, you could... Well, at least maybe... give them a better fate than I had.
I can certainly try. That is what we are trying to do. Is there anything...
Where are we right now?
We are in Midham?
Midham?
Yes.
That's where we're headed. We just left Bramlake for Triarton. They should be passing through any time now.
Good.
I know
Then
there's...
we can hopefully help them sooner rather than later.
It seems they have a habit of camping out past a town, not in the town. They'll march through the streets, go just on the other side of the town, and they'll set up camp there. Usually they rally our carts around in a circle and, well, bed down for the night.
How many are there?
Oh. Well, there's 3 carts, 5 or 6 in each cart. That's of us. Of them, I have no idea. A good number. They'd have to have at least 30 or 40 at least, and that's just what I've seen.
How do they keep guard at night?
From what I could see through the slits in the... They cover our cages and the carts, but from what I could see, they would march around. They set up torches and big bonfires out, and then they would just have a few of them that march around. I think they have a certain degree of solace and safety in numbers, and they maybe have 5 to 10 of them walking around at night.
You said you were in cages.
Yeah, on carts. Terrible conditions. I feel bad for the young'uns. Who knows what fates they have in store for us, but I suppose we're luckier than Some never even got the opportunity.
That's terrible.
Has been. Well, I guess that's over for me then. Seems the forest has blessed me to at least commune with you a bit. Maybe you can help where I couldn't.
That is the goal. Is there anything else that you can tell me?
There's another one. Not like the rest. Usually close to our tent, or close to sets up their tent close to ours, as if almost to keep an eye on us. And I think a woman, judging by her voice, but not much you can see of her. She's got this whole dreadful mask that she wears, and seems to be the leader of the group. The rest of them are just your typical Xeyhathian blue. She's got these other cart that she is always keen on checking on. She keeps it right behind her own, and every now and then I'll see her stuff something in there as if she's feeding something. She calls them her pets, but I've never had a good look at them.
Are there any sounds from her pets? That you can't see them?
Lord of the Trees is there. Yeah. Grumbling and growling and just inhuman. Seems that most of the other soldiers are, from what I could gather, rather scared of her. She seems to lead with an iron fist, at least.
Do you think they would turn on her?
I don't know about that. Maybe if they felt the tides turning or something, but as it stands, I think they'd be too afraid to. She's threatened a lot of them with, well, unleashing her pets on them, if it come to that. And there's another cart among the three. They've got that one sealed right up. It's an odd sight. But every now and then they'll replace a potion or something out on the top of a spigot, and it's like it releases a gas into it. So whoever they got caged up there, they're giving them a particularly special treatment. Not sure what that's about, but every now and then it vents out that gas from the other pipe that shoots out from it, but it's a full steel cage. You've never got to look at him.
This is very helpful, Solon. Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Evelina. I hope that everything that I've provided you, if there's anything else I can do, I'm all yours.
That's good to know.
And I hope that you can get them out.
We will do our best.
And best of luck to you then. With that, you feel the essence of Solon leave.
After the little fight and agreeing with Farron and taking on this project, I will go up to Farron and I'll pull Foxjay in as well. Farron.
Okay.
I've been thinking about your words. About how some of your people have a gift. I don't know if it's the same, but there's a way for me to protect my people. I would, and I would like to try something.
What do you have in mind?
Well, meet me upstairs. I'm gonna go buy a room.
Okay.
And you said that was 5 silver.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Gonna walk upstairs, grab the bow staff off the table, kind of half asshole-ish. Is there anything else that you can tell me about
About how it
these
worked?
people? Is there like a ceremony? Is there?
Well, it's a bit finicky. For some people, it's a gift. For others, well, I can't say that I can see the future, but I can see through an animal's eyes if it'll let me. Can talk to him too. And that's a magic that we learn. That's something that we pass down. How your sight? Do you have any idea how it works? How did it come to you? Have you always had it?
There were occasions I would be able to see while I was sleeping something that would happen. I got my crew out of a lot of situations. It might have gotten the attention of some people higher up, but it proved useful, and I didn't question it, and neither did my commander.
It's always been quite so intense.
Only developed to where it is now because of he'll touches the scarf and he'll remove the scarf and show Farron, and you'll see there's just holes, scars over each eye socket. I don't know who they were, but they took my eyes. It ended my career. It ended everything. And I'll kind of lift up and show the half scar. They try to... Well, you can kind of gather what may have happened.
It's a terrible wound. I've heard that sometimes when someone is close to death, very near to it, that sometimes their gifts can evolve. Sometimes the spirit changes in a way. Perhaps that could be what happened to you.
It's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I wish I could give you more answers. But it sounds like... Sorry.
Foxjay, can you watch the door? And Farron, can you watch the window?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
DM, can I try to roll to see if I can enter into a meditative state to try and for the first time, like, actually use the ability instead of letting it come to me?
Go ahead and try.
Can I do something real quick before you do?
Sure.
Your blindfold's off?
Yeah. It's kind of loosely hang around my shoulders.
Foxjay is going to approach Talon. And I'll just rest my palm, which is, epicenter of the scar is just kind of an eye in his palm. Just kind of asks for consent before I, place my hand on your eyes, essentially.
Go for it.
Okay. Just a little spark comes out as I place it, and I will cast guidance on you. You've got this, Talon. And then I'll go back to the door.
What does guidance do?
D4 on an ability check.
D4. Ability. Cool. Right. DM, I don't know if this is gonna
Do
show
an
current
Arcana
or
check.
future.
Do an Arcana. Yeah, you, yeah. Go ahead and do Arcana.
What is my Arcana score? Shit, that's what it is. Okay.
Actually, or Insight. Does it make more sense that it would be a Wisdom check more so than an Arcana check, right?
I don't know. You're the DM. What would it be?
Insight. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, that's a little better. That is a total of a 16 on the die, 24 in total.
24. Sitting in the room focusing. 23. Sitting in the room focusing your attention, letting thoughts come and go as they may, hoping that you can hone in on something to determine whether it is a past event, something that is yet to be a possibility, something happening in this current time. You see mostly memories, for a moment. Memories of the cave. That same kind of haunting vision of stepping in with that ominous, gut-wrenching feeling as you lead your men into the cave. Performing your duties, ignoring that gut instinct. All in a flash, everything that transpired within the cave rapidly rushes through. It startles you awake or back into lucidity for a moment, but then you refocus and close your eyes and try to focus in on the certain aspect of clairvoyance that you've had. You see a campfire, large, set outside, blue and white tents. You see a boot step into the mud near the fire, and it turns in place. You see a green, almost gemstone eye behind a mask with its own accent of a green and purple tinged metal. You see a pipe where steam releases from the pipe. A lever that is taken from the up position to the down position. A group of shadows moves within the darkness of night and the firelight that casts shadows amongst the trees. And you see what looks like almost a spear tip, slightly curved in that same kind of strange purple and green gemstone-like material. And you see it drag across the ground. Just behind that, you kind of focus in on a chain with kind of a blade attached to the end, and it's almost serpentine-like, is dragged across the other side behind that what appears to be some kind of spear tip. And you see a large figure laying within kind of this box. And with that, you come back out of the connection. And the strange, enigmatic visions that you feel edged. Oh, you are. You have no idea what I just hinted at.
Very cryptic. Talon will wipe away, and you. I don't know if Foxjay or Farron were watching, but
Oh, I was watching you
Kinda see it.
intently.
cool. You definitely see like tears, and he wipes them away when he comes back. Is there ever barely helpful? I will relay
Yeah.
to these two in full as much as I can, because Talon is starting to trust them.
Do you think past, present, any idea?
It was nighttime. There was a fire. My best guess is it was tonight. Now.
It might be a part of what we're facing. If you said it tends to be things that
Try to help. Never is that. More makes sense in the moment.
I wasn't prepared for that last vision of yours to show up quite so quickly.
Neither was I. Usually it's about a couple hours later, and that was a lot sooner.
Well, with timelines, we can start paying attention to this. If you're able to record it, you might be able to get a better framework. With any skill you develop, trying to learn how to see through a bird's eyes, you don't get it on the first try. There are a lot of misses. But as you fine-tune it, you can hold it for longer. So maybe if it's something that you can practice when we're on the road, maybe you might get more control over it.
If I were to record it, I would need someone there to write.
I think
My
any of
sight
us-
currently is... Sorry.
It's all right.
My sight currently doesn't hone into the finer details.
I think any of us would be willing to do that for you if you're comfortable relaying as you have. Admittedly, I don't actually know how to write the common tongue, so might need to ask someone else for that.
Talon, I have an idea, if you'd be open to it.
Sure.
Foxy was gonna get kind of a look where like things are starting to kind of clink into place. He's gonna pull out a beautiful reddish kind of mahogany intricate pipe that you've seen before. As I told you once, this is a pipe of remembrance I like to use to remember the most important thing in my life. And it seems to find what is most important for you to remember. And after these visions, whether they be of the past or the future, they're still now in your... If you need to communicate them more, he just offers the pipe to Talon. I've got ocean in here. I don't need this. This can be more useful to you.
You hang on to it. maybe for now I will ask to use it. Admittedly, I don't smoke. Taste isn't my favorite. I know how important Ocean is to you, and showing those memories, even if I can't see them. Thank you. Talon is going to start tying his scarf back on.
Thank you for your trust, Talon.
Well, thank you for trusting us with joining you. Seems like we have plans to make. Where's the rest of our crew?
Hey, we should probably try to reconvene. Is everyone kind of? Would it be easy enough to try to get your folks into a single room?
Everyone who wants to be herded can be herded. If you would not like to be herded, then speak your piece.
Can I go get my leftover appetizers?
Yes.
The pot stickers.
Yeah. Finish your pot stickers.
Could we, or would we also want to get the half-elven gentleman, or would we want to talk to him later?
We could talk to him tomorrow or in a few days. We have a week or so.
I'll wait to go find him. Let him ice his wounds.
Yeah. I have a few nasty head wounds. They're all going to be feeling it tomorrow.
Hey, I don't think that was, well, it certainly wasn't what I intended, but I suppose Lewin has his own way of, making friends.
It's Lewin.
Or
He
his
had me
brother.
punch him in the face.
That's true. Suppose we shouldn't be surprised. But what
That's
do we...
just how he makes friends.
Tough love and no love.
I know the type.
Sorry, are you not including Lewin in this conversation?
I would probably include Lewin in the conversation.
Alan would go get him.
He's not quite entirely sobered up. He continued to drink for a little while after, but he's functional enough.
Maybe saying that Talon won't get him.
He's not. No, I mean, like
Catch him up in the morning.
It's almost like the only way that
Perpetual
you can-
inebriation.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to tell because his, like usually when you're looking for inebriation, you're just looking for like a little bit unhinged. He's already unhinged, so it's kind of hard. It's you can smell it on him a little bit, but there's not a whole lot that's like different about him, except he's got a little bit more like sway to him, but it's like a sways to one side and then sways to the other side, like as he's talking. So what's the fucking plan? What we doing?
Liliana's gonna grab his shoulder to balance him, hold him straight in place.
Are we in our little room, or like am I going to like have to drag him with Liliana?
You don't necessarily have to drag him. He can follow along if you guys go.
He's just, no. She's just holding him up from his swing.
Yeah,
It's
he
kind of
like
bothering
turns
her.
and looks at her like, "What you doing?"
You're making the earth turn. Stop.
No, the Earth is turning more than usual right now. It's not me.
Thank me later.
He kind of just puts a hand on your shoulder and like as if he's just like, you're doing great. You've done really well lately, and I'm really proud of you. You really stepped up. But it's like he's mostly like using it to support himself, but every now and then he slaps it to like make it look like he's not.
I'll just keep handing him water, and then when he's done and looking for a table, I will take the glass of water and just keep like perpetually taking it back, giving it back.
It's like, got a room upstairs. We have some stuff to talk about.
Bro,
When you're done here, of course.
I'm done here. I'm ready. Yeah. Ready when you are. Never been readier.
Do I need to grab a bucket for you?
What?
I'm gonna go grab a bucket.
I'm not gonna shit in
just
the
in case,
you
and
mean
go
like,
upstairs.
Oh no, mate! You think I don't know how to own my own fucking liquor? No. Cunt. Let's go.
Wag tongue.
All right, you guys convene in the room.
So, what do we know?
Well, you'd like to tell the rest of them of what we gathered. Is Evelina here with us too?
Yeah, is this still the night before? Or is this morning?
I guess night before.
Okay, then I don't know my stuff yet because I waited.
You do
till,
know
like...
your stuff. Your stuff would be. It would.
Well, no, I said I waited
early
till
on.
like 3 a.m. after everybody
Oh.
was asleep.
Oh.
So
Do we want to do this in the morning?
We could do it in the morning. We do it in the morning.
Fast forward, this is happening later. Evelina has already learned her stuff, you guys. And it's happened, she's already learned her stuff. It is, you guys are convening at about like 3:30 a.m. Just, you know, like, hey, before we all wind down for the rest of the night, all right? Because everybody did kind of go out and do some things like before the night. You guys will just sleep in, I guess, a little bit to get your long rest.
I am so tired.
Fuck, it's way past my bedtime.
It's way past Grandpa's bedtime.
I usually function best at night, so sorry. It's when I tend to get most of my work done.
I don't see light. I just sleep whenever.
Fire?
He totally sees light, just differently.
While Liliana and I were out scouting a bit, saw a bridge with a river underneath, possible choke point, but have any of you managed to gather anything or think of anything plan-wise?
I have some information. I'm able to speak to those that have passed on.
Well, that's fucking new.
What now?
Yes, it's, I guess you could say, the only thing I remember, so to speak, from my past. It's the only thing that I know is true to who I am. But I was able to have a conversation with a gentleman who unfortunately was one of the prisoners of the Xeyhathian soldiers that we are currently tracking, and he was able to give me some much insightful information, and I'll tell him all the information that I was given.
I'll say I'm fucking surprised. Gods. So should we try to hit their camp then, instead of trying to go for the bridge?
I say so.
That's the way to go. I mean, you catch some of them off guard if they're on the road. They're ready to, you know, they're all armed. They're all ready to, you know, they're already thinking about road bandits and all that.
If we have
if
any
you
luck,
do-
they'll be like Lou in here.
Yeah. maybe in the night. Drinks one of the water and starts drinking the water.
Who's good with locks?
Had my experience with a few.
Took me a couple tries, but I got us out of that prison.
Before I forget, Farron, I have a very strange idea, according to what Avelina told him. A few hours away are a bunch of corpses that we defeated. And if these beasts apparently feed on flesh, do you think we could go grab some of those corpses and then taint them in some way to feed to those beasts if we're going to attack the camp so that they become maybe less of an issue? Maybe some sort of herb or plant or something local that we could.
I'd say I like the idea, but if we want to make him any kind of more pungent, DM, on the way into town, would I have noticed any flora growing in the area that could that has like a strong scent, or something that we could use to mark corpses in some way?
Or
Mark
poison.
in which way? What
Or
do you mean?
poison. Something that we could potentially use. Poison is a really good idea. Anoint the corpses so that if those beasties feed on them, then they would feel poisonous effects. So something that I could quickly turn into like a like a tincture, or even if I could just mash it into a paste.
You weren't necessarily looking or thinking to be looking for those while you were traveling, so I would say probably not. But that doesn't mean you can't do in the morning or even now if you decide to.
Fair.
Go look for
I
some.
can. Yep. I'll need to look for him, but I know of some poisonous plants. Sometimes we put them on our arrow tips, so I'll look, see if there's anything we can put on him.
All right. So, plan-wise, we need to distract if they get to the bridge. So we're going to attack the camp before we attempt some sort of bridge thing. But if the camp thing fails, they will be super on guard and maybe divert their route altogether. Maybe. I don't know where else they could go unless they cut through really rough terrain.
We attack him at one place, we can't anticipate another opportunity.
I agree. We should focus on planning for the camp.
Okay.
I can, using my bow, I can travel by the shadows if there's enough firelight 3 times before I need to let the bow rest in shadow to be able to recharge that effect. But I can't take anyone with me. But where that might be useful is if we need someone to go into a space or even inside one of the cages to help people free themselves. I might be able to pinpoint myself somewhere.
I don't want to be seen. I won't be
I'd
seen.
prefer. I think that's the safest policy.
Checking spells. Okay. Do we want the camp to be before the bridge or
I think
just
we focus
where it's
on
closest?
I think we focus on the camp. If we can get them before they get to town, we might have a second chance.
Agreed.
But wherever they
So-
happen, a camp close by.
Just to clarify, what was divulged to Evelina through Solon was that they go past the town and camp outside the town, so that if they need to go get supplies, they can send people to go into town and get some things. But they do go past the town, like towards their direction further, and then send people back into town to get things. So in this case, they would go.
That would work better.
They would go through Midham, and then camp out somewhere there. Maybe that's if they even stop in Midham, or at Midham. With a larger troop, it would make sense to. So you have a good sense that they probably would stop after Midham to do another rest, especially since it's the last kind of civilization before for a while, if they're headed to Silver Rain or anywhere.
We could use the... Sorry. We could use the bridge as a chance to scout what they have, and possibly even tamper with the carts to make it easier to get folks out later. But it sounds like our best option would be to do pre-work as they pass through town, and then actually try to free folks whenever they bed down for camp.
Is there like a wild elvish term that one could sneak into some sort of saying, maybe even just a sneeze, to let them know that help is, if one were to get close enough to the...
Hard to say. I'm not sure where they hail from. I know there are some from my clan, but... You can always try to do a bird whistle and hope they get the message.
Bird whistle. Okay. DM, did it seem like the potion gassy cart was for the beasts, or is that a separate thing?
Based on the description, it was a different thing. They said that this was another prisoner of sorts. There was 4 prisoner carts, 3 normal, however he described his, which is just cloth-covered cages, and this one, which was just like a high security box with pipes running out of it, a potion dripping into one pipe and gas releasing from another pipe. The other thing was a different box that was like always close to this leader figure's wagon. So separate entities there.
Okay. If someone were gassed or I don't want to say inebriated, but affected in some way by some sort of potion gas, would a lesser restoration be good enough to alleviate those effects?
Let me look here for you, because there is a specific effect that is applied.
And was the growling coming from the potion gas cart or
Nope,
from
it's
the
from
other cart?
the leader's cart with the beasts.
Okay.
Yeah. He didn't mention any kind of noises from the gassed cart.
Okay.
But from the description, it seems like that gassed cart, the big metal box, was being treated the same as them, as far as like it was carted along with the other prisoners.
Okay.
Because it is a condition, you can end a condition. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So, we have some people that are good in the darkness, but also are the ones that are good with locks, which need to be right up there. So, are we thinking incapacitate the guards that we can? Get in close?
I think if we can, as tempting as it is to silence them altogether, if we can just put them to sleep or otherwise take them out of their rotation. Since Avelina, you said that the spirit said that Gods, that's strange. That
Used
there
to
were
it.
only a few guards that would patrol at night.
Yes, he said safety in numbers, and they would go in groups patrolling at night. Yeah.
So it sounds like
So-
if we can get past the patrol and then deal with the leader. Sorry, Liliana.
Or we can take out those groups. Thin them out.
I could attempt to calm them all.
I'll be honest, I can't help but think, I've done my fair share of fucking guard duty. Patrolling, walking around with a fucking torch in the middle of the night, making sure the trees don't come out and attack you. Right? They're just other boots. That's all I'm saying. They're just other boots. That could have been me. Could have been you, Talon. Could have been you, Fox J.
Oh, we're talking about patrolling. During your patrols, during your time, Lewin and Liliana, have you ever seen someone wield a spear with a curved blade made of purple and green metal?
Never heard or seen nothing like that.
Have I?
Roll a history check.
$13.
Something about that material sounds familiar, but that specific description doesn't sound familiar.
Green and purple. No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Fair enough.
Lewin. I don't mean to be argumentative. You do make a good point that it could have been you. Could have been Talon. But I'd also make the case that the people in the cages could have been Farron. And I think we have to be mindful of the balance there. And respect everybody's experiences.
Yeah, but I don't know any bloke who just following orders gets their throat slit in the middle of the night, unexpected. It's not a good way to go. I get it, they're cunts like the lot of them. I haven't met any person in my entire days who's not a cunt. Right? Doesn't mean that everybody deserves to die.
No.
And it's not like you can stop and be like, oi, you a cunt, before you stab them. I get it.
It's a tough road. For everyone involved.
So we do our best to go unseen, focus the leader if we have to, and once the leader's gone, then they have the chance to make their own choices.
Evelina, do they ever let them out of the cages?
I don't think so.
They could. What is it that they call it? Grand theft horses? Just go in, we take the horses and we run. And we
Looking
hightail it.
down. So we just steal the carts.
If they're in it.
It's also a consideration if we don't want blood on our hands. Or more than what's needed.
How many horses would that be?
Oh, I mean, in my
Well-
days, I don't think they ever leave the horses attached to their carts in the middle of the night. They hitch up the horses and then they leave them just for that exact reason. They're not dumb.
Wish they
Well,
were.
you kind of are, so I had to assume.
Well, you're a cunt.
What
I'm
if
gonna
we do
ask.
that-
Ooh,
What if
You
we
go.
do that before they detach the horses? They're winding down,
Sure.
getting ready for the night shift guard, and before they detach the horses, we strike.
I'd be alright with that.
Fern, with these flowers. If you were to put them in your tips, could you make them fall asleep?
Could certainly try. It just depends on what plants are nearby.
I'll help you look.
It depends if it gets him or not. If it all it takes is one to not fall asleep, to just alert the rest of the fucking lot.
We could try to drug their food.
Then you gotta get access to the food. It involves getting close.
I'm good at getting places where I'm not supposed to be. I think we have some other folks here who are good at that as well, and I point at Liliana, Avelina, and Lewin.
What if you pretend to be a caravan with this tavern's amazing appetizer that you give great discounts to soldiers, and when you pass them on the road, you sell them a lot of drugged food?
The problem is that we're not considering their leader as well. I think this might be something we'll have to do on the fly when we talk about it. We won't know until we see them. We won't know until we see their camp.
That's very true. Just about the horses, and I'm gonna ask an old man question here, DM. Using my knees, do you think it's gonna storm in the next few days?
I feel that on a spiritual level. I really, truly do.
Roll a
Me all day
survival check.
yesterday.
Roll a survival check with advantage and add +10. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
shit.
You can roll a survival check. Sure.
Oh, 19 on the die.
Plus
+4, 20.
Judging by the cloud coverage and the weather lately, it doesn't seem like it's going to turn anytime soon. So, going to be pretty calm and cool.
Okay. Well,
DM, when did the... Again, it's a week from now, right? When the caravan's supposed to come through? They're anticipating it from a week. I don't know why a week has resonated with me.
I don't think they ever said a week. They said within the next few days, even. And what was confirmed to Evelina was that, like, very soon. That's where they were already headed. Midham was the next stop, is what they were saying. So they had already left Brumlingford Shireton. So they're, I mean, what, map-wise?
It's 2 days.
If that, yeah.
last idea I want to throw out there, and then we turn in, because I think my time is coming soon. As far as the horses, and maybe I could spook them, I could just send down a lightning bolt near them.
How many carts?
3 with prisoners. Well, 4. 3 standard, 1 that's fucked, and then 1 that apparently has some sort of snarling beasts.
I'm gonna rush. Might be able to break the lock.
Does
Prepare yourself
anyone
that you may not save all lives, regardless of their innocence or not. We will have blood on our hands by the individual.
Does anyone have any ability to help with our cover? Actually, as I say that now, I can help us a bit with our cover, but it helps if we have multiple avenues for helping us stay hidden.
I can give darkness, and I can give fog.
Sorry,
Fog
darkness.
would be excellent.
But when? Because two-way street.
I've dealt with darkness before. If you focus it in a certain spot, certain person, without them knowing, they won't know where they're at. How to get out. It's very disorienting. So you could potentially put it on the leader on that cart with the animals. Protect us from that. For a time being, while we focus on just the normal men.
I feel that darkness, having a sudden blackout, that's sort of more of an oh shit option. It's
What if they're asleep? Wake up in dark.
sleep and waking up in darkness, that'd be fine. And we could always try to use fog or darkness to obscure the escape rather than the initial. But in any case, I do think Liliana's right. We're going to have to come up with a lot of this on the fly. But it sounds like we've got a good skill set, and we can attempt to honor prior agreements with the understanding that sometimes it can't be helped.
Next few days, information gather. Check any sort of plan that we can make, and we'll strike.
Aye.
I'll work during the night.
Likewise.
So you
I can help with that. I don't sleep anymore.
the night crew.
I'll sleep for the next 14 hours.
You get your rest on, man.
And I'm gonna pat his shoulder. I'm gonna
rest.
pat his shoulder and walk to my room. And I'm gonna go to sleep for the day and wake up at night.
Suppose I should fucking buy a room.
I bought mine right before the brawl happened, so
Before the kerfuffle.
the kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
So yes, I will also sleep for the day.
Talon is going to sleep, but not for the day, just to get the long rest.
Just to get the long rest, yes. So everybody finishing your long rests, everyone who does so may finish your long rest, waking up at the appropriate time from 4 a.m. Yep, so looking at a decent amount of time into the morning.
When night starts to roll around, I am going to knock on Avelina's and Fern's door.
When night turns around, is that what you said?
When it comes to night.
Right, gotcha.
When
You were at night, and now it is.
we slept throughout the day, when it comes to night, I'm gonna go
Oh.
get them.
You slept throughout the day, so you stayed up till. There's too much of day unless you just waited. There's too much of day the next day. You guys were having this conversation about 4 a.m., right? Like 3 or 4 a.m. So if you were just going to sleep then, it would put you at about like noon, right?
Sleep
So-
till like 3, 2.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
8 hours?
So you still have a good while before night comes back around.
Okay, so we'll just we'll hold hands in my room. No, I'll just wake him up, regardless, preparing for the night shift. We're gonna talk about what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go over what we're looking for, while we're gonna try to stick to the rooftops. Listen high, and then we'll go low to look for.
So
Whatever.
I would say this isn't like your typical like city where you can go from rooftop to rooftop. Like I said, there's a good amount of space between each of the buildings, and it would be very conspicuous to be up on a roof of this type. Like you would be more, unless you.
So
yeah,
with my cloak, it would be, if any perceptions checks done against me would be disadvantage, and I basically am camouflaged to my nearest surroundings. It's basically a hobbit cloak.
Gotcha.
So
to a certain degree, but also you are you can totally, but I'm just saying, like, visually it's not the most practical place to hide. You are also horizing yourself, if that makes sense, because when you see something on a lightly graded roof, there's no cover, there's nowhere to hide. You are just up there in plain sight, even if you have, it's not necessarily an invisibility cloak, but you would be, if you put yourself on the horizon, they will see a lump, right? Because that's what they can see, just easily. It's almost attempting to hide in plain sight, is what I'm saying, which is not effective.
Okay, well, I don't want to be walking on the streets, so well, that kind of takes away my plan, to be honest.
Well, they're not gonna stop in the town. They're gonna go past it and camp. So should we like scout for places
for camp.
that they might camp?
Yeah, we
Okay.
could do that. Let's do that then.
And on the outskirts of town, if you'd like to take the up high route, looks like there's plenty of trees. I'm curious.
That would work because there is cover. So like that's one of the things that people don't address in D&D is, like, technically you can't hide if there is no cover or concealment. If you don't have that, you can't technically. You can attempt to, but it's going to be just ridiculously fail. But it's one of those things that's not arbitrarily addressed, because it's like, it's just a number and my number was high. That means that I did good, right? And it's like, well, you were out in the middle of the open. In a tree, lesser so. That is, the Cloak of Elvenkind would work perfectly there.
And to that note, as we are, starting to go about our scouting, Liliana might notice me watching her a little more closely and kind of watching the folds of the cloak. And at a certain point throughout our scouting, I'll come up a little closer. I can't help but wonder, I recognize the make of that cloak. Looks like it's very well made. How'd you happen to come by it?
It's a gift from a friend. Dear friend.
One of my kind, or just one lucky to have it?
Liliana will sigh, put her head down, and make direct eye contact with you. Sure. One of your kind. There was no blood from this. From his to mine. It was an honor to receive it, for sure.
Thank you. The peace of mind is Hard to come by, but much appreciated when I can get it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to start climbing into a tree because she doesn't want to be seen on the ground, to be honest.
Then.
And she's going to stay up there and she's going to look down. We must be hidden at all times. This was something he's always told me, so this is the best way to go about it. I wasn't always the quietest. It's kind of a loaf. You can hear me, see me wherever I was, so this is the way. Thought it would help me.
I understand.
And I'm just going to start looking around for campsites at a higher vantage point in the trees. Plots of land for enough for like 4 or 5 carts to roll into with no issue.
There's a decent amount of shrubbage and foliage and trees and stuff around in most of the areas, but you see that off to the left, a little ways outside of town, maybe, less than half a mile for sure, there is a area that would probably make the most sense to camp out. As far as like it would be the easiest to clear out any brush if you needed to, and if you had a large party as large as this is assumed to be, it would make the most sense to be there.
So, what do you think about this place?
Certainly looks like a good place to bed down. Wonder if there's any way we can, or if there are any natural elements we could use. Make it easier to hide people behind. We could actually try to build up some foliage if we want to give ourselves things to hide behind. Pretty common practice for hunters.
I always wanted to look around to see if there's anything that we could use to our advantage, but also help us in battle if needed. Like weak trees that we could set on fire.
Nothing that would, in that regard, that would risk burning the entire forest down and then spread outrageously. There's not any kind of like rock or like cliff coverage or stuff. It's mostly just trees and a somewhat little bit of a clearing.
Well, let's go find your plants. This is probably where they're going to be. But we should keep looking just in case we're looking for your plants.
Go ahead and, before each of you roll me a survival check. One is to kind of solidify. Allie's, your will be to solidify the certain degree of where they will set up. And yours will be for finding your flowers and your plants.
So not 20.
Yeah, 20. You are pretty certain this would be the most certain place to set up.
So, for me, for looking for the flowers, that is a total of 21.
Takes you some time looking initially for flower buds of a certain variety that you would know have poisonous effects. You don't seem to find any, but then you kind of rack through your brain other components and begin to look for smaller buds that might have roots that could have some kind of poisonous potential, and eventually you, after some time, are able to dig up a few of these kind of poisonous spuds.
Excellent. Also, while we are out here, I'd like to take the time and construct some hides and basically gather up some fallen limbs, foliage, etc., and build up places where it looks natural, but it's providing cover spots so that when we come back here later, we'll have things that we can hide behind that are kind of scattered in the trees around the notable campsite.
Okay, go ahead and do another survival check for them. What is everybody else doing? Everybody else still kind of in the village as well right now? You can go
19
ahead
for
and
that.
get are you you're trying to just like, kind of like camouflage it or whatever, almost making like a blind kind of thing?
I'm basically making hunting blinds. Yeah.
Okay, just using just natural elements like bushes and such like that.
Yep.
Okay. You're able to kind of build a certain degree of a perimeter around this area, but still leaving enough of an area that it looks like this would be a good place to bed down. They may even look at that and be like, that'll work in our advantage, but little do they know.
Excellent.
Yep. So, elsewhere in the village, what's going on?
Alan will kind of look for maybe apothecary, maybe magic shop, somewhere to maybe get like a basic health potion, since he himself does not have healing abilities.
No luck in this little ass village, unfortunately. There isn't an herb shop, but you would need somebody who would be able to craft the potions from scratch in that regard. So if anybody has a, not herbalism kit, what's the potion? I don't know, one that lets you make potions. But the
Alchemist
herb shop,
kit?
Alchemist.
yes, there you go. That if anybody had that kind of proficiency, then you could. But unfortunately, no straight up potion shops in this silly little midum.
Fucking hell, you would think that there'd be at least someone. Gonna go train. Punch a tree.
Fox J, Evelina.
I'm with Farron and Liliana scouting out the area.
Okay, I didn't realize that you went our way. Or
Yes.
went that way. Fox J.
Kind of like Talon, is there a place I can pick up some like Metamucil tablets or?
Yes, there is that.
Just
Some over-the-counter
Pepto?
drugs, yes.
No.
It's
All
in a
right,
perfectly branded Pepto-Bismol bottle. It doesn't even
Pink
look medieval
bubblegum
at all.
flavor.
Yeah.
Pink bubblegum flavor.
I'm going
Fuck you after
to peruse the market to see if I find anything. Maybe I'll whip up lunch for everyone, or help doing so. If there's a general store, I would look for maybe ball bearings or some sort of spiky thing I could lay on the ground.
Some
Or
cow
anything.
traps.
Caltrops, thank you. Could not think of the
There's not necessarily exact caltrops, but when you do look in the general store, which is mostly selling like farm machinery and replacement parts and tools and stuff, that you see that there are like rake ends that you're like, that could work if you just kind of like broke off the teeth of those. You could literally make like caltrops out of those. They would be kind of makeshift, but there's almost nothing in regards to like, I'm trying to ambush and do combat, because it's just midum. It's just midum. midum.
Are there woodworking supplies, so nails, screws,
There
that
are,
sort
yes.
of thing?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to buy those in bulk, please.
That will be, how much are you trying to buy?
Enough to fuck up somebody's day. Who's chasing after me. Enough to build a couple barns.
To build a couple barns?
I don't know what.
Do you have a few platinum?
Yeah.
Are you trying to just like make some like anti-personnel like spiky boards kind of thing?
No, I'm just looking to if I need to throw it on the ground and they have to like instant difficult terrain.
So like nail boards that would go up. Yes. So you're trying to make like one each would probably be like between the nails and the board, a silver piece each. So like per personnel. Anti-personnel.
Oh, I'm not going to put them on a
lines.
board. I'm just going to like, if I'm like running away and I just like, nails, behind me.
Nails.
Like,
okay.
like what?
Well, that wouldn't be the most effective thing in the world. You would have to be very, very lucky for those nails to land in such a way that running over them would go through somebody's boot.
Are there Legos, perhaps?
That would be 4D
Maybe some
100,
D4s.
4D100 of damage. Yes. 100 D4 of damage. Yes.
I'll do the rake thing. I think that's
okay. Yeah. Again, that would be kind of like makeshift. It would be more effective just because of the angling of that. It would be more of like a spiky thing versus just nails, which could fall flat and you're like, I stepped on it and it does nothing.
I just don't know when they're like the board thing. I just don't know where. I feel like this is going bad very quickly. I just want to. I don't know what else to get.
You just want to make. There's nets.
There's what?
Nets.
Nets. You know what? I'll take like 5 nets. I'll take some length of rope.
Let me look at the costs of that.
Allie, what are you thinking? You had a revelation. Please help this old man.
Yeah, we need to go back there later on in the day and set up net traps. Lure the people into net traps and we freaking shoot them up.
Excuse me there, sir. I'm a net enthusiast.
So all of these are mostly designed for fishing, so they're not like your traditional like combat. So they are 1, cheaper, 2, smaller and less sturdy than your typical net. So
I'm hoping to catch me a Sasquatch out in them woods.
Expensive, 5 silver a piece of net for net.
Okay, I'm going to buy 10 gold's worth.
10 gold's worth. Okay, so that's.
I don't know how much that gets me.
That's 20.
You said
nets,
5 a piece,
right?
20 nets. Wonderful.
20 nets.
20 nets and some
like,
nails.
They're like weaker nets, yes. And some nails. How many nails? Give me a quantity.
2 barns worth. No, enough to nail down some nets. So, like 100 nails.
100 nails.
This is taking so much longer than
it's
I'm
5
so sorry.
copper pieces worth. It's fucking shopping. I'm terrible at this, okay? I accept it.
No, it's me. It's me. I'm sorry. Get me an antacid on the way out, and then I'm done.
Sure. That'd be 5 gold for that antacid.
Damn it. That
Josh is this everyone's grandpa who just like builds shit for them.
Got any Tums? All right.
Caramel chews.
So you're now approaching later afternoon now. What are our plans now that some time has passed? You've got some brush set up, some potential cover for your guys' infiltration. You have nets. They have not yet been prepared. How do you intend to use those?
Hello, everyone.
When we get back into town in the morning, I'm going to start looking around for curious new faces. Anybody that stands out? Any rumors? I'm going to try to come in as nonchalant as possible. Maybe.
Roll a perception check and yeah.
That's a 14.
With 14, nothing that stands out as far as people coming and going. There is a whole other family with all their belongings that passes through in this day. You see that Garrett leaves. he's moving on north. And you recognize that couple meeting up again for the end of the beginning of evening. They go off kind of into a garden just out north further. You happen to just it catches your eye that they pass on by. You see the scar-faced individual exit from the Sorry Duck Inn, comes over to you. He's kind of flipping a coin up and catching it, flipping a coin and catching it. So, have you all come up with a plan?
Gonna look around and gesture to go back in. Let's talk inside.
Cars.
Go inside, and then with Avelina and Fern and anybody else that we see that's on our way to, Liliana will escort everybody to her room and basically run down the campsite that we found, that Fern found her plant, the plant needed for the sleep, and what we are kind of winging the plan as we go, but we know that where their camp is and that's where we're going to be, and we'll work out as we go, as far as Liliana knows.
How did you come apart across all of this knowledge? You're certainly gifted lot, aren't you? Anyways,
You can say that.
that's far different than what we had planned. I like it. We were gonna just hit him at the bridge. So,
Catch him off guard. Quite literally.
There is an idea of perhaps trying to tamper with the carts when they pass over the bridge.
Mm.
If that would potentially be useful, weaken them in some way so they're easier to break into later. Or even just get the message off to the prisoners so that they know to cooperate with us.
how would you go about sabotaging a moving cart, though? It's raining
Yeah,
really
close
hard
enough.
right now, by the way. I turned my microphone down, but it's just coming through.
That's intense.
Yes, it's storming as well. So if the stream dies, I died. That's what happened.
If it's possible to try to get them to slow down on the bridge. Not sure if that'd put them... they'd probably put them on guard, but it was a thought.
Jeez. Are you scared? Saphira's scared. He's never scared of storms.
Did it
Wow.
end up raining at raining at Sad Duck Tavern?
Yeah. It rained after all, yes.
Monsoon rain came in.
It's now storming in Midham, yes. Damn. Well, is there any way that we can help as far as causing a distraction, or I didn't
consider-
expect to have this many hands, so I'm feeling confident in our efforts now.
You definitely use some brothers in arms.
A distraction to lead some of the guards away and divide their forces might be helpful. Alternatively, whenever we release those prisoners and have to deal with whatever's guarding them, it would be helpful to have someone to escort them to safety. Maybe your group could help get the prisoners out.
We could cause a bit of a, I don't know, a pretty good distraction is usually to go for the horses. If we get the horses and we take a few of them, see how many come after us that might clear up the camp for you. We'd have to time it well so that we don't get their horses, they get them back, and then they're all on high alert for the rest of the time.
I think that sounds like a good idea. What do y'all think?
Worth a shot?
I bought a bunch of nets. I don't know if that's helpful. They're pretty weak, but I bought a bunch of them.
It might slow them down if they manage to try to come back.
So, do we, we could wait till most of them are asleep. There's a guard up. We try to calm them. Poison some. Rush in, get the others out. At the same time, simultaneously getting horses away. It's all...
We should probably wait until most are asleep. A few are on guard. We take out the closest, and I'm gonna look to Fern, to the cots with the poison arrow. Of course, Evelina and I can go up and finish the job. Pick the gates. Let them out. While you guys stay to the trees, stay to the bushes, and help where necessary. How many nets did you get, Foxjay?
I just put some gold on the counter and hoped for the best. I think it was about
You haven't
20.
counted them. 20.
They're not great. Maybe I could,
Well-
like, crochet them together.
A massive net. Yeah.
You
just-
fold them over themselves.
Yeah.
Have a little
Make
bit
it
more.
Get 10.
Mm.
By the way, if... before I forget, if you need cover suddenly during this, whatever it is, maybe make some sort of frantic bird call, something I'd know, so I can just stop it. Do that. Mostly for the prisoners' escape. Don't want them noticed. Because it's about to be quite a cluster of activity in a very short space. So we take the leader lady down, mask.
Okay. I think the
Right.
initial
My turn to
distraction.
him and tell him that there's also a lady that we're anticipating that has beasts. I don't think I noted that yet.
Understood. Well, if we can at least thin their herd a bit and then give you opportunity to get in there and get them out, that's the best we can hope for. If we get into some kind of clash with them, we just want to get it over with quickly before the rest of the group comes back. As you guys gather around, one of his men kind of storms in the door, kind of nods to the barkeep himself, and then kind of like hurries over and kind of places his hand. I guess you guys went up into the room, right? So storms up, and kind of hurriedly and frantically notes to you. They're coming.
Already?
Oh, they're a few miles back, but they're coming. They'll be here by the end of the night. You're muted.
Let's take up position then. we'll wait for the signal of the horses. And then we try to get him out as stealthily as we can and fight when we have to.
Yeah. I will say I'm very curious as what's in the sleepy cage. What's going on there? Be careful.
If possible, let's try to keep our identities a secret. You do what you can, Foxjay.
Okay.
DM, about what time is it?
You're now approaching about 7 p.m. 6 or 7 p.m. So, yeah, at this point, evening has kind of approached.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead.
When we get into position, I just wanted to say I'm going to cut up one of the nets and twine some nails together to make call traps myself.
Okay. It's like a call trap net.
Oh, well, yeah, but not in a net, but yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're just using like bits
Yeah.
of the net. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Sure.
The big question is do we want to be there before they get there, or do we want to get there after? I say after.
I say after 2. Let them get nice and cozy and comfy, and then hit them in the night.
We're patient. If we get there first, then we're patient. Enough off to not get caught.
They're probably gonna scout the area before they buddy down. So we should probably
we could
wait.
Also do the least stealthy of us if we've got a good enough hiding spot, but we don't know what they're gonna look through when they're setting up camp. We don't know how much they're gonna try to tear down, but if we got enough of us that can hide while they're there, the ones that are least sneaky of us, what we can do is have them camp out there, and then the ones who are sneaky enough to get in the middle of the night, could have them show up afterwards. It's risky either way.
I'm all right with that, and I can also help for those who are not quite so sneaky. If you're close enough to me, then I can lend you a bit of shadow to your cover.
Let's get preparing.
The light of the moon it is.
Who is going to camp out there to stay and prepare?
Liliana will stay. She's one of the sneakier, so she'll probably stay behind and get out as Lewin suggested.
Get in or stay in?
Come in late. She'll probably show up like an hour or two with the sneakier of the bunch.
I will camp. I will give 2 nets to everyone.
I guess I will camp as well.
Sneaky, sneaky for Evelina.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Okay, so you guys going to stay with Farron, or are you going to spread out? How do you want to do that?
If you would stay close enough to me, I want to wait to help with the remaining unseen. But after that, then we can fan out, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm. No telling on how this is gonna go.
Isn't that half the fun of the hunt, though?
Oh. I'm gonna look up. It is. Just gonna go to my finished packing and preparing for us potentially to not come back.
I'll go with the sneaking in group. I can hold my own under the shadows. And I'm not the most graceful in my step. Might have to stay with the betten down group. Anticipating the march in of the traveling caravan of prisoners. Each of you get in your respective positions, awaiting their arrival and setup, and then inevitably the infiltration and attempted releasing of said prisoners. But we're going to take a break. So we'll be back. Everybody take 12 to 15 and we will be right back for this, whatever this is going to be. We'll be back. Hey, mates of fake, thanks for following. Mave Climber, thank you for following. Icy Wolf 263, thank you for following. And Lexi, thank you for the 5 gifted community subs. And Super Mecha and Eyes, thank you for following just now. Welcome. We are going to take a little break, but then we'll be right back.